CNBC-TV18 presents Petonomics India Edition with Royal Canin.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Avan Dabash. Our evolving relationship with our pets has unleashed a multi-million-dollar economic opportunity in India. It brings with it a whole host of opportunities and responsibilities, which we are about to explore on a special episode of CNBC-TV18 presents Petonomics India Edition with Royal Canin, to give you a ringside view of the fast-growing pet care economy in India. India today has nearly 35 million pets and is home to one of the world's fastest-growing pet care markets, expected to touch $1 billion by 2028. This surge reflects more than lifestyle shifts. It signals changing consumer expectations, growing reliance on professionals, and a rising demand for science-based, responsible pet care. Yet, this growth is layered with unique challenges, from lack of nutritional awareness to the absence of uniform, science-based standards for pet health. That's why our discussion today is about building a responsible, value-driven ecosystem of care for millions of pets that are now cherished family members. To decode these dynamics and discuss the future of pet care in India, we're joined by two distinguished leaders. First, we would like to welcome Mr. Carlos Andres Luna, Regional President for Rapid Growth Markets at Royal Canin, who brings a global perspective on India's role in anchoring Royal Canin's long-term growth vision. We also have alongside with him Mr. Satinder Singh, General Manager, Royal Canin, the man charged with steering the brand's local strategy, investments, and partnerships to elevate the standards of pet health and nutrition across the country. So thank you, gentlemen, for joining in. And Carlos, let me begin with you. As someone who is overseeing the rapid growth markets globally, how are you looking at India's role in shaping the future for pet care at Royal Canin?
That's a great question. So first, thanks for inviting me here. I'm super happy, to be in India. And, India is an important market for us. When we look at the demographics, when we look at the pet ownership, is growing a lot, and India is not an exception. And actually for us, in Royal Canin, India is going to be one of the key markets in terms of growth population. And for us, for Royal Canin, is very important to be here. And the main reason is because to provide the best health for cats and dogs, nutrition plays a key role there. And actually, that's a big effort. It's not just one brand. It's a whole pet ecosystem. We need to partner with veterinarians, with pet professionals, inform pet owners, and all together, drive health through nutrition for cats and dogs, because nutrition really impacts their well-being. So it's very important for us to be here.
Absolutely, and I think it is a very big part of the pet care industry. Mr. Singh, let me come to you, because there's been that huge shift, I assume, in consumer behavior when it comes to the pet care industry since COVID especially. Can you tell us what your observations are, and how is Royal Canin actually adapting its portfolio, its overall strategy to meet these new demands?
During COVID, there was a big spike of pet ownership, and it reiterates the fact that during distress situations, humans lean towards the unconditional love which they get from the pet. Yeah, absolutely. And that reinforces our belief that, the pets make this world better, and hence our purpose is to make this world better for pets. And, in India, we have seen that pet population increase a lot during COVID. It slowed down a bit after a year, but now it has started to pick again. I see a bit of change in trend. India used to be only a dog-centric pet ownership, but now it's shifting from dog and cat. And some trends are shifting from only large breed to the small breeds as well.
Okay.
And, as far as our strategy or our portfolio strategy is concerned, so, we just don't make pet food. We provide science-based solutions to transform the health of cats and dogs. And why I'm saying so? Because we believe that every cat and dog is unique basis their, size, breed, lifestyle, life stage, condition, sensitivity, and hence they require a precise nutritional solution for each of these situations.
Absolutely.
And we have that portfolio. We have a huge portfolio to address each of these precise nutrition solutions, which is backed on science. And our strategy is that we research on the needs of Indian pets and keep on bringing this portfolio to India. And we have a huge global portfolio, which, whatever we do our research and wherever we find an opportunity to address the needs of cats and dogs, we bring that portfolio to India. And I think we have just scratched the surface so far.
Absolutely, there is a huge market, and as you said, there's a lot of promise in India, which brings me, Carlos, to the next question. The fact that there's been a huge commitment that has been made with the $12 million facility, the packaging center in Bhiwandi. Can you tell us a little bit more about what the rationale was behind that? And is it an effort to really strengthen supply chains, or is it a strategic bet to get closer to consumers?
Actually, it's both, actually. And I was very privileged to be here almost 1 year ago in the inauguration of the packaging center. So as you say, it's a commitment, for India from Royal Canin. It's our first facility from Royal Canin here. And actually, it gives us, as you were saying, first, it helps us, to really serve the customer, the local pet owner. Because we produce, in France, for example, but of course, we want to have the view of the local pet owner, what they need. And the packaging center gives us that flexibility to really take insights from the local market and adapt the products, the pack size, to what they need. But also it helps us on the sustainability agenda, because at the end, we're kind of reducing our carbon footprint as we are kind of finalizing the product here in India. So actually, it achieves both. And as you say, it's a commitment, for our investment in India, as you were saying.
Absolutely, $12 million. And I assume, like you said, you're scratching the surface. It's the first of many. But Mr. Singh, as much as we may acknowledge that we are making lots of strides in the pet care industry, there still remain those knowledge gaps, if I may. Healthcare risks are limited, even access to veterinary centers. So how is it that you are addressing these gaps?
I think it's a great question. And, the reflection of that is today the calorie conversion is very low in India, in single digit, and the infrastructure is very limited. If I say that the ease of having pet is not that great in India, because infrastructure related issues, the level of medicalization, the level of sophistication in providing the best care to pets is limited because of various factors. One is that, the lack of nutritional knowledge, and, as I said, the infrastructure stuff. So we try to play role in both. For us, we map the ecosystem partners, starting from pet parents to all the pet professionals, and we try to, bridge the awareness gap. So we have a lot of programs. We are known for our thought leadership in industry.
Wonderful, Mr. Singh. And Carlos, and that's something that I want to understand from you as well, because it seems like the goal at Royal Canin is a better world for pets. But this is at the same time when you have to balance a fairly price-sensitive market, which has a lot of high growth potential, but there's commercial growth as well. So what are the other metrics that you look at beyond revenue? Yeah,
so thanks for the questions. Well, first, performance and purpose go hand in hand. And that's very important, because we believe a better world for pets, because they make the world better for us. In order to do that, we need to work with a lot of stakeholders in the industry. We want to support the vet industry, the veterinary profession. We want to work with pet professionals. We want to make sure we can also educate pet owners about the importance of nutrition in the life stages of cats and dogs. And that requires a lot of effort. That's why, when we perform, we also making sure that we can drive that purpose, because we're achieving that ecosystem play. And at the same time, we have revenue as a metric, growth, for example, but we also measure the impact we have in the health of cats and dogs. We also work with veterinarians, how we are improving their profession, how we are putting nutrition in the curriculum of their practice. And all these metrics outside, the typical growth targets are also something that we evolve. So that's why we say that mutuality is at the core of the business Royal Canin does in India. It's very important that we work all together to make sure we can create a better world for pets.
And performance and purpose going hand in hand, I think that is very critical to the strategy. Mr. Singh, what's your outlook on the upcoming competition as well? The fact that there are a lot of new players entering the space, upcoming startups. Are you really honing in on Royal Canin's positive ecosystem impact, and how are you dealing with it?
Great question. I think our value is cats and dogs first, and it's a good news from that lens, more the merrier, because there's a lot of gap in awareness of nutrition, awareness of overall education, overall how do we take care of pets? There's a lot of lack, and with a lot of the new startups and manufacturers coming in, they are making some of the products, some of the packaged manufacturing food more accessible, more affordable, particularly in tier 2, tier 3 towns. The products are more accessible now, and that's a good news. The second good news I see from increasing competition is that this industry has started to contribute economically in the growth of India as well, by contributing more to employment in terms of distribution, retailing, in a lot of other aspects of the business. The employment is increasing. The only watch out for me is today we don't have any pet food manufacturing standards in India. And that's the kind of watch out for me, because in the absence of a strong regulation, there is a big risk on quality of the pet food. And once the pet owners are not seeing the efficacy or whatever the claims the manufacturers are putting and the results are not there, the element of mistrust gets created, and there's some anxiety, curiosity, and we don't want that. So that's the watch out. I think we are working very closely with the authorities to put some kind of standards for manufacturing pet food like human food. I think otherwise, more the merrier. Otherwise, that's great news that the competition is growing up.
Absolutely. More furry friends will be treated too. But I think, Carlos, I want to stretch that point forward. What Mr. Singh just brought up, the fact that there is a need for a robust regulatory framework. So what would that really look like for the pet care industry, backed by science? And why is it so critical for the industry?
I think, the first thing is important, nutrition is the best medicine. And we see it in humans, When we put nutrition, you have a healthy life, of course, with exercise. It helps to have a better life, quality of life, longevity. And it also applies for cats and dogs. But a cat and dog is very different from humans, from us. They have specific requirements. And I think we need to also work, all together in the industry in India to make sure that we qualify as Satinder was mentioned, what are the standards of nutritional needs for cats and dogs, and make sure that the industry is helping on that. Because at the end, what we eat is what we're going to see in our animals. So I think that's one of the quests that Satinder and the team here in India is doing, trying to work with authorities, with partners to make sure that we create those standards, like happen in many, many industries across the globe. So I think that's something that we still need to work together here.
And if I may just add, it's a brilliant point which Carlos made. If I just, there are two elements to it. One is that in the absence of that, there is a lot of misinformation, because this is a time of social media and the social recommendation, and there's a lot of misinformation which flows, and it creates a lot of mistrust. And end of the day, the pet owners gets defeated. The second point is, if we look at the vision of India to make in India and become an export hub, and if our pet food manufacturing standards are not as at par with the international standards, we'll never be able to realize this vision. We'll never be able to become an export hub. So we need to have a standards of pet food manufacturing so that it does not only aid to the quality care in India, but we are also able to feed to rest of the world and live to the promise of Make in India. The advancement in the pet care industry overall, there are more avenues to take better care of the pets, whether it is veterinary industry, whether it is services like grooming or, boarding or training. A lot of new startups are investing in educating pet parents and bringing the standards of, pet care improving every day.
So it's nice to see that Make in India is the goal, and that is something that you're working closely with the regulators for. But Carlos, especially for the next generation and for a lot of consumers, sustainability seems to be a growing concern. So how are you at Royal Canin really looking at sustainability goals, and are they being effectively implemented in India?
Yeah, perfect. Sustainability is not only the right thing to do, but it makes business sense. And we also see, you were mentioning, consumers, pet owners, they also demanding that.
Yes.
And I think it's very important that we jump into that. And Mars has started this journey a long time ago. We are part of Mars Incorporated. We have called out our objectives, our commitment by 2050 to be net zero. What it means is whatever we produce in terms of greenhouse emissions, we will be able to compensate internally. And I think that's a big commitment to be made, and Royal Canin is part of that journey. And I think, when you look at pets, people, and planet, Actually, this is the kind of core strategy that we have at Royal Canin. And I will build this with an example. When you have a puppy or a kitten, they need a specific nutrition. So when we talk about the pets, the most important is, in sustainability is not just about reduction of carbon footprint, but it's also how we can make sustainability in terms of the profession, in terms of the education. So in terms of pets, how we can educate veterinarians and support veterinarians in the pediatric consultation, how we can inform pet owners the importance of nutrition. When we talk about planet, how we can produce products that are carbon efficient, how we can produce products that have recyclable packaging. Or when we talk about people, how we can support the veterinary industry, how we can equip associates and also pet owners about the importance of sustainability. So there is a lot of areas we're working together, and we have clear metrics year on year, to make sure that we can accomplish that.
Absolutely. So sustainability as well as fantastic care of the pet industry. Looks like you guys are doing everything. And finally, Mr. Singh, let me understand what the future endeavors are. Where is the next phase of growth going to come from? Are you going to tap into the current pet parents? Are you going to try and, explore the market and gather new ones? And can you also tell us a little bit more about your work with the retailers, with the breeders, and the other parts of the industry?
There's a spark in my eyes whenever I, kind of answer this space, because the opportunities are immense.
Yes.
India, I always share with my, global counterparts that India is a land of billion opportunity.
Yes.
So there are two levers of growth, which, usually many markets miss even one lever. The first lever for growth for us is the pet population is continuously growing. And, that's a great news. And we have huge headroom because the pet penetration of household is just about 10% in India today. Okay. And it is going to grow, definitely in next 2, 3, 4 decades, it will reach somewhere about 20%. So, the pet population is growing. That's a great news for this industry. The second is the spend per pet is increasing every day. And that's happening on the back of the advancement in the pet care industry overall. There are more avenues to take better care of the pets, whether it is veterinary industry, whether it is services like grooming or, boarding or training. A lot of new startups are investing in educating pet parents and bringing the standards of, pet care improving every day. And that's a great, news. And it's all happening because GDP per capita in India is increasing. So people have more disposable income to spend more on their loved pets. So I think that's the category growth outlook is amazing. Now, the second aspect, we believe that, our philosophy is based on mutuality. This brand has a lot of soul. This brand has built on purpose and mutuality. And we believe that all the ecosystem partners, we, as a thought leader in the industry, we have to take them along. And we have invested a lot of resources and energy in elevating their awareness, starting from pet owners to veterinarians. As I've given example previously, with breeders, we are trying to improve the quality of breeding through bringing the best practices from outside and educating them and sending some of the breeders to see the best practices in the world. And then, last but not least, creating the more conducive environment in the retail shops by elevating the retail experience for shoppers. So, that today anybody opens a pet shop may not have gone, and seen that what the success looks like, but we bring that success here and, kind of elevate that entire experience. So I think we believe that we are punching above our weight. And we are trying to, prove that we are thought leaders in this industry, and we are trying to elevate that entire industry to a new standards.
And I'm sure you will do wonders in achieving all of these milestones. And apart from almost convincing me now to have a pet, tell us, I'll ask both of you, what is the one achievement or anything particular that stands out, impact that Royal Canin has had that makes you exceedingly proud? I'll start off with you.
I think for me is doing good by doing well. I think you can really create, a better world for pets. You can really provide through nutrition the best health for cats and dogs. And you can do that by bringing the whole community of partner stakeholders and pet owners together to achieve it. And I think that's what we're doing in India.
Wonderful. What about you, Mr. Singh?
So I think the biggest achievement for me is when I hear back from the stakeholders whom we are at service of. And, I don't want to misquote, the biggest delight came, few months back when we received this feedback I don't want to misquote, so I'll read from the quote which I received from a pet owner.
Okay.
And it was an amazing quote. And this is I feel that, when you see these kind of feedback coming from the people whom you are servicing.
Because it's just genuine, feedback that this is what you do your work for.
Absolutely. So one of the pet owners who have, kind of recently bought the Persian cat food, and they said that, to quote, "My beloved Persian cat recently gave birth to 3 beautiful, healthy kittens, and I truly believe your food played a big role in their well-being. We have always fed her Royal Canin dry and wet food, and she absolutely loves it. She won't even touch anything else. Now that we have little ones in the family, we have started them on Royal Canin mother and baby cat food, and it's been perfect for them. Thank you so much for caring about our pets and providing food, and we can truly trust what we feed." I think this literally made my day that day. And, definitely apart from that,
This is the best marketing. This
Absolutely.
Yes.
So, and then, when I go to market and when I hear back from the partners, the veterinarians, the pet shops, how we are adding value, I think that's the biggest achievement. Numbers and performance is an indicator, but I think the real achievement is that when you are able to make the difference in the lives of of your stakeholders who matters to you.
Absolutely. That is so heartwarming and so nice and genuine to see that feedback coming in. I'm sure that apart from all of the wonderful work that you're doing with the performance metrics, lots of furry friends, lots of wagging tails and purring cats out there are being very well looked after. So thank you for joining in for this interview.
Thank you
Thank you
so
very
much.
much for
Thanks,
having us.
Lily. Really appreciate it.
What a fascinating discussion. It's clear India's petonomics is a complex interplay of emerging consumer dynamics, rising awareness, and a developing ecosystem of pet care. Our sincere thanks to Mr. Carlos Andres Luna and Mr. Satinder Singh for joining us and outlining a long-term strategic vision to responsibly elevate the standards of pet care and well-being in India. We hope you join us again. Till then, from me and the entire team behind Petonomics India Edition, it's goodbye.
CNBC-TV18 presents Petonomics India Edition with Royal Canin.